75 Hard is a mental toughness challenge that is meant to push your limits. Developed by Andy Frisella, it encompasses following a rigid set of rules strictly for 75 days. One mistake with one task on one day, even if it's day 75, means you start from zero. Hello guys, my name is Jay, and over the past 75 days, I've been completing this journey. I'm here to break down the rules, share what I've learned, how I did it, and ultimately answer the question, was it worth it? Let's get straight into it and start at the top. What are the rules? There are 5. The first rule is exercise. You must exercise twice a day for at least 45 minutes, and one of those times must be outdoors. It is recommended on Andy's website that they be separated by at least 3 to 4 hours. Unfortunately, if you just do one long an hour and a half exercise, it won't count. Secondly, follow a diet. It can be anything as long as you stick to it. The only requirements are that you can't have cheat meals and that you can't drink alcohol. Besides that, whatever floats your boat. Thirdly, drink a gallon of water, which is 3.8 liters for us metric users. It should be clear, simple, plain water, no flavorings. Unfortunately, using it in a protein shake won't really count. Fourth, read 10 pages of a book. It should be a personal development book. Something like business or psychology where the goal is to improve yourself. That's what we're aiming for. The fifth, final and most difficult task is to take a progress picture. Seems easy, doesn't it? And that's why everyone forgets. Remember, one mistake and you start from the beginning. So, if you're thinking about trying this challenge, I have some tips that could interest you. If you start without a plan, it can seem like a bit much, but a little bit of preparation goes a long way. Let's start with exercise. I'd recommend getting up early in the morning and just banging out the first one outside ASAP. Otherwise, the day can get away with you and you won't be able to fit them in. I really enjoyed a nice run or cycle in the mornings. Keep in mind that the weather can also change, and no matter how well you prepare, you probably will end up running in the rain at some point. Next, water. 3.8 liters is quite a lot, so start early and pace yourself. I got a 3.8 liter bottle of water that had markings and timestamps on it to help keep track of things, which really helped. You don't want to lose track of how much you've drunk so far and have to start again. Then, pick a diet that you can stick to. I chose intermittent fasting because it works really well for me and I really like the mental clarity you get before you eat. I'd recommend it mostly because it's lenient in what exactly you can eat, but any diet will become a challenge in social situations. For instance, not being able to eat after 8 PM and eating in a restaurant with slow service will be a problem. I know that from experience. Another thing is not to get overwhelmed. I remember smashing out my workouts on the first 2 days, waking up on the third, stiff as hell, and thinking, what on earth have I gotten myself into? But just like anything, it became a habit, and after 20 days, it was just another day. And once you start getting into the swing of things, you feel really productive, and it's just overall really nice. Next, plan out your schedule. I found it quite effective to set aside an hour or 2 in the mornings to just bash out as many tasks as possible. I added a couple of extra things I normally do in my mornings to this challenge, so this is an example of what my morning would look like. Wake up, make your bed, go for a run or cycle, come back, have a cold swim or shower, then drink some black coffee and read the news, learn memorize, which is it's a language learning thing like Duolingo, and then read the chapter of a book and meditate. While not every morning looked exactly like this, most of them did. Ticking all of these things off before the day got going just allowed me not to get overwhelmed. According to the rules, a brisk, purposeful walk for 45 minutes does count as exercise. So I'd recommend using that as a tool to manage the physical load on your body and just avoid burnout. Obviously, do this within reason. If all you do is walk, you're only cheating yourself. But just try to keep it varied. Run, swim, cycle, gym, hit, most kind of sports, it all works great, just not esports. That doesn't count. Finally, get the 75 Hard app. It has built-in reminders which just makes remembering all your tasks super easy. You could also create a habit tracker like the one I've made here, and that's another way to just keep tabs on things. What's super nice about the app is that it's portable, which is really nice. That's pretty much it for tips. Now, you don't have to do all of them, or any of them for that matter, but they really helped me. Now, let me try to answer the question I laid out in the beginning of this video. Was it worth it? What is really cool about this process is how your internal dialogue starts to shift. You start to perceive things differently, and challenges that once seemed big or daunting just don't. A lot of people give 75 hard flack for being too challenging or too difficult, with a lot of things that just go very overboard. For instance, the exercise and the water. A lot of people I know personally reminded me of how unnecessary they are. Drinking that much water actually flushes a lot of the electrolytes out your body, and exercising twice per day does lead to burnout. But these little challenges are things you can work around or overcome, if you really are set on finishing this program. What people can't see is how your mindset shifts when you stick to your goals every single day and hold yourself accountable. Once you combine that kind of discipline with the wealth of knowledge you expose yourself to via daily reading, constantly comparing your thought process to the likes of some of the greatest minds that came before, you start to come to a very interesting outcome. This happened for me with signing up for my first ever endurance event. After reading both of David Goggins' books, I came to some interesting realizations about myself that wouldn't have been possible otherwise. I did some research and selected a triathlon to compete in, which should be happening in the next couple days. So, in conclusion, while many people may notice that you're in better shape after this challenge, and you will be, the real benefits are not something they can see. This is intended to be a mental toughness challenge, and that's exactly what it is. So to answer the initial question, was it worth it? For me, the answer is simple. Yes.